Hello, so we are again back on cloud computing concepts. So we are going to go into the lecture 11. We are going to look about presence protocol, with one of the protocol that's been practiced in cloud, leveraging presence enabled, and the future, the upcoming days of presence. And also we are going to look about the interrelation between identity, presence, and location of the users in the cloud. The term presence means the ability to detect the electronic presence of the users. Means through internet or other mobile device, but we want to check where actually the users are now through the internet connection, their device, IP or IMEI number. There will be some sort of numbers that identify the user location and where and which device he is getting access to. Presence services are commonly provided through applications like SMS applications or others. So the term web presence refers to the individual or maybe a business but having the existence in the World Wide Web through the webmail or sorry website or email or blog or any other social media, but where actually the business is currently now. Understand the power of presence is very important. That will unlock the real potential of the internet. And presence data enable the organizations to deploy and innovative real-time and service and achieve significant revenue opportunities for them. And at the most fundamental level, understanding presence is simple. It provides true or false answers to queries about the network and availability of a person. And presence is a core component of identity in the real time. Now, presence serves as a catalyst for communications. So basically, where the users are roaming and one user to another, so we have these communication channels. The main purpose is to signal availability of the interaction over a particular network, private or public networks. And it also used to determine the availability of phone. So when the phone is connected to internet, it would detect, okay, this user has become online, something like that. And the management of presence is also been extended to capture more information about like GPS locating longitude, latitude of the user in Mali, like Hemperu Mali, like Mafano, like where he is located now, like that. We can check his location. Presence is an enabling technology for, especially for the peer-to-peer interactions, like texting, messaging, file sharing, those kind of applications. And presence in cloud implementation of presence follows the software design patterns in the cloud. And this means that a user or application publish information about its network availability of the centralized or information of those cloud. And the authorization usually takes the form of just a subscription. So we have to subscribe to that service. The IAM implementation or the context of the bodies are the authorized persons to contact and communicate with those. For large entities like enterprise solutions, we have the elements of consumer-based IAM services today that given to the companies, especially for the critical system, business critical systems, because these business organization requires a more deal over the control of their devices, their services. Like we have VoIP, voice over IP, and other services being deployed. And any solution that had to be scalable, extensible, and support distributed architecture. And also, any device or any software application should be able to publish and subscribe to the presence information. And enterprise solutions should have the ability to federate numerous and cross protocol presence, and any solution should be able to access presence data over multiple other different methods. And the ability to integrate the presence information with existing organizational infrastructure. Like we have the Active Directory in the office, connecting all the users to server. That AD also can be integrated with the presence of cloud. So just for authentication purpose. Presence protocols, we have consumer-oriented messaging that do not enable like the enterprise or the company to have a leverage their power on the presence. So smarter the approach, of course, will be one of the use of standard presence protocols like simple or XMPP like last class we have looked in. Today in Office we have the SIP, especially for the phone IP phones we use SIP protocols, and XML messaging and other protocols for the web or open source community. So the real reliable methods to determine another entity's capability is called the service discovery, and where in application and other devices do exchange information about their presence directory. And even though no framework for a service directory has been produced by a standard or development of this particular one. And the simple working group is developing the technology to embed all the capabilities of this presence information. And also it has the capability already exists widely deployed XMPP extension. Then comes the leveraging presence. The real challenge today to figure out how to leverage the power of presence within the organization or maybe within the particular service we offer. It requires having the ability to publish presence information from the wide range of resources. So we have collection of resources. We have to publish the wide range of resources. It's also safe to assume that any network capable entity can publish presence. And the requirements for functioning as a presence publisher are fairly minimum. So it's a very less requirement. So anyone can be engaged into that. So as a result, the SIP software stacks are available for a wide range of program services, and enabling these devices and application to publish presence information is only half of the solution. So presence enabled, what does mean by presence enabled? That's the one question. So the basic concept is to show availability of the entity in appropriate venue. So are you in the shopping mall? Are you in this office? The availability of the person. Some modern applications today collect more information about all the people, like the last sign in, where did you sign it, where did you check in, so many things. And the presence engine acts just a middleman, the broker, the publisher and the subscribers. That it is the broker one. Okay, it also collect so many information about the user. So being able to operate using the multiple protocols like IMPS or Simple or XMPP, that's the basic requirement in order to distribute the presence information as widely as possible. Future of presence, it will remain, it has been seen like SMPP in the future of cloud services. But for now, we can say there's a dominant protocol service in the web space for currently now today. Then identity, presence, and location. So digital identity of a person. Okay, where you are, which device you use to log in, which connection you use to log in, like certain information about you to authenticate who are you. Identity traits might include like government issues IDs, corporate user accounts, or maybe biometric information to authenticate you. And there are two attributes which may be associated with identity are presence and location. Over the last few years, there have been an aggressive move towards the convergence of the identity, location, and presence. So, identity, presence, locations have three characteristics that lie on the core of this critical and emergent real-time communication. There is cloud computing, collaborating, and identity-based security. So, if you try to identify somebody, you have to be very sure to check and double check is this the correct person. And presence is most often associated with real-time communication systems, and location refers to the user's physical location and typically include latitude and longitude of. And also we have two terms, authentication and authorization. Authentication means we are checking that the person is the correct one. Authorization means we are giving the rights to some person. Okay, like for example, we are again Fatah. Fatah gave this username. I'm giving Fatah administrator rights. Just authorize. Authenticate means Fatah is given his username and password, and we are going to check is that the correct username and password just to make sure it's Fatah and nobody else. Presence in the cloud, cloud and SaaS identity management, federative identity claim-based solutions, identity as a service, which we have covered in the last class, compliance as a service, and the future of identity in the cloud. So cloud and SaaS identity management. So it means like software as a service. There are so many softwares today available in the internet for us. But how are we going to identify that is really you? So today we have the Google apps or others that to do identification of the users who try to use this. So within the advent of the cloud computing and identity requirements, that corporate IT departments are today put it on the SaaS. It means with your Google or with your other account, you can log in and take our services. So we don't ask to register nowadays users with app. Maybe we'll ask them to use your Google or other authentication service to verify us. So within the success of single sign-in today, so because all the like Google, we have Google Meet, Gmail, everything we have YouTube, single sign-in, every service we can get. So why don't we use that authentication process for our application? That's the basic idea of cloud and SaaS management. There are options. Choosing the right technology is critical to successfully implementing the federated identity management and mitigating the long deployment times. And the typical options for SSO are either a preparatory source, and the idea of SSO has been around for years, and it has been reason why the enterprise portal software was invented in the late 1990s. And however, the preparatory solution that had to be rolled out by the IT departments proved to have serious time or other things. And the cloud and service management in June 2008, the Salesforce.com disclosed that it has been used in security assertions or markup languages. And the key benefit of using the SAM instead of a preparatory source SSO is that the SAML is the same solution as SSO like we use in the Salesforce.com. And SAML is the dominant web service today, like in the market, the dominant web service for identity management. And there are other services too. So federating the identity, so the identity provider and the service provider, these two are standard describe the operational roles in the SSO transactions. The IDP is the example like for enterprise or other who manage accounts for large number of users. Okay, and the SP might be the SaaS actually, I mean the software. So they do have the outsourcing of the vendor of the client information. Federating the identity, there are four common methods. Use preparatory solutions, use open source solutions, contact a vendor and do a customization for you, or implement a standard federation. And the most successful way to achieve identity federation is to choose the standalone federation vendor. It's the best way actually. The vendors provide the best of breed functionality. Why we call best of breed means it has been implemented, tested, successfully used. So we can have like that confidence that it will go correct. Maybe a claim-based solution means someone on the internet is claiming that who is Fatah and he's giving information about Fatah, so we can check, we can trust him, we can give service to him. There are some protocols based on, and this approach supports the shared industry visions as an identity meta system, an identity as a service that we provide on the cloud to identify you, authorize you, and IAS is a prerequisite for other aspect of the cloud-based solution. But the biggest threat of that is the manageability. How are we going to manage that? And the biggest threat is the business by far managing identities, authentication, and authorization of all Then we have the compliance as a service. The managed service providers historically has so many difficulties in compliance with the requirements. The problems becomes more complex when it comes to the cloud environment. So physical resources can be geographically diverse. So it complicated more. Then we have cost-effective multi-regulation services. So in a cost-effective and a regulation service or next generation network security monitoring technologies can be deployed in the cloud to perform automated and rule-based data mining. Then we have compliance-oriented security services could be created to support verifications. Then to do a continuous audit of our cloud services, provide continuous audit of security controls and the compliance other controls that we have put in our service. This approach has a very high level of information assurance because we don't want to have a downtime or failure in our information availabilities. And we have threat intelligence like collecting information about threats. So what are the new threats and how we are approaching hackers are approaching today become threat. So the future of identity in cloud. So the more business application today, the more cloud-based services, of course, identities become more being created in the cloud. But the challenges of managing this identity in the cloud are very far-reaching. But we need more multiple entities working on that. And of course, a flexible and user-centric identity management system. Definitely, users also must be empowered to execute effective controls of their person. So we have today two-factor authentication, bring in the code to your phone, and use like that. Users will be given more empowerment in the identity. Thank you. Bye bye.